We got our first glimpse of scrimmage action in day 3 of Sacramento Kings training camp. It was physical, it was fast-paced, it was fun to watch. I'll talk to you about what I saw. Plus, Davion Mitchell is really stepping up as the leader of the Sacramento Kings bench unit. We'll talk about it right here on Locked On Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily Sacramento Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for another episode of Locked On Kings.
Hello and welcome into Locked On Kings, your podcast hub for Sacramento Kings coverage all season long. My name is Matt George. I have the privilege of being your host here. I'm a Sacramento sports anchor and reporter for ABC 10 News, and we had to wait a little bit longer than usual for training camp coverage today. That's because today was a two-a-day day, meaning the Kings had a practice in the morning and a practice in the evening. Media availability were normally let in around midday, around the noon time. This evening, we were let in around like the 6, 7 o'clock-ish time, and we got to witness some fast-paced action, some scrimmage action for the first time in training camp so far, and the gym was packed. It wasn't just packed with media members and the normal Kings personnel. There were a lot of people there. I don't know if they were community members, season ticket holders. I don't know who the heck they were, but there were a lot of people inside of the practice facility, and they were treated to some really fun, fast-paced Sacramento Kings training camp scrimmage action. Now, unfortunately, when we were let in, when the cameras were let in, it was just for the fourth quarter of the scrimmage. They played 4 12-minute quarters, so basically a whole game, and it was Team Black versus Team Gray, and Team Black had the 5 starters on the roster. So De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis were on Team Black, and the main bench 5, the Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk, JaVale McGee, Trey Lyles, and 5th guy to be named. We thought it was Kessler Edwards. Kessler Edwards was on the Black team tonight, so he wasn't that 5th bench guy. We have no idea who that 5th bench guy is at this point. Maybe it's a position that's still very much up for grabs. In fact, I believe that is the case as of this point, but they were on the Gray team. By the time we got in there, the main starters and the main bench players were done. They had played the majority of the practice and of the scrimmage. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see them in action. So we mainly saw like the end of the second string. So guys, probably 9 through like 15, 16, and like the rookies and the training camp invitee guys. Those are the guys that we saw competing. And like the biggest takeaway from the scrimmage, and for those of you watching on YouTube, you'll see the footage on your screen right now of some of the scrimmage action that we saw. Like, I've been telling you how much physicality and speed and pace has been a focal point for training camp to this point, especially physicality. Like, that has been the word that's come up over and over and over again, physicality on both ends of the floor, but especially on the defensive end. Well, it's one thing to hear everybody talk about it. It's another completely to see guys playing as physical as they were, guys crashing into each other, trying to draw charges, jumping passing lanes for big steals and trying to go coast and coast and dunk or finish with a strong layup on the other end. Guards throwing their bodies in front of guys. Like at one point, Jordan Ford's tried to stop, I think it was Jalen Slauson on the fast break, and he just got completely run over. So these guys are playing physical, and you're going to hear Domantas Sabonis, Kevin Huerter, and Mike Brown on the podcast tonight. All 3 of them talking about how guys are banged up, not injured necessarily. Everybody completely participated as normal, so there are not any injuries or anybody sitting out, but guys are getting banged up and playing physical and getting into one another. And we got to see that in person. We also got to see kind of the chippiness in person. Now, nobody was picking fights or anything like that, but there was a lot of jawing back and forth between the benches, between the players on the floor, and that's what you want. It's a very competitive environment. Guys are not only competing for, especially the guys that we saw playing, are not only competing for roster spots or rotational spots. You even have the top guys. Like, anytime the bench is playing the starters, the bench always wants to kind of upset the starters a little bit. So you just saw a very competitive, vocal, physical, fast-paced atmosphere. It was a lot of fun to see and a lot of fun to be around. Davion Mitchell really jumped off the page to me, and he didn't even play right? Davion did not play at all, but he was standing up next to Doug Christie, who I believe was the head coach of the bench team. Mike Brown just sat back and watched. So I think it was Luke Lautz that was the head coach of the starters team. And Doug Christie was the head coach of the gray team, the bench team. And Davion was up more than Doug was. Davion was standing the entire time, talking the entire time, leading his guys on the floor, jawing at De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings bench. Like Davion was just into it. Very into it. That caught my eye right away. I even got some footage of him talking from time to time, because I think this is going to be a big year for Davion. I think this is going to be a breakout year, and Davion has the responsibilities with the second unit of being the point guard. Now, we saw last season that the ball was taken out of his hands a little more than maybe we expected initially. Malik Monk kind of took over the ball handling and facilitating responsibilities of that second unit, but Davion Mitchell is still very much a part of that second unit, and Davion Mitchell is still technically playing the point guard position. So as the point guard, you're the floor general. You're expected to be kind of an extension of the coaching staff. It's your job to run that unit, and we can really clearly see Davion is trying to step up as that vocal leader and is trying to really take over that captainship of that second unit. And again, you're going to hear Kevin Huerter, Domantas Sabonis, and especially Mike Brown talk about that, because I asked all three of them about Davion and his growth as a leader in our scrums after the scrimmage was over. But Davion jumped off the page to me. Get to see a little bit of Sasha Vezenkov. He was playing with, again, the end of the second unit, mainly third unit type guys. And he didn't do much in the limited time that we saw him. He maybe played 3 to 4 minutes of the final quarter. Didn't take a shot, which was a little disappointing. Had one moment where he was trying to play defense, got called for kind of a ticky-tack foul. Didn't do anything great, didn't do anything wrong. He was just kind of there, but we got to see him at least in action a little bit. And Kessler Edwards had some really good moments, as did Jalen Slauson, but Kessler Edwards looked like he was kind of trying to take control of the game, being one of the top guys out there in those units that were playing. He had some good moments, especially on offense. And then Jalen Slauson had a couple of good steals in the backcourt and tried to go coast and coast and finish on the other end. Keon Ellis had some good moments as well. So overall, there's not a ton to take away from any individual performances of what we saw in training camp, or at least in these scrimmages. But from a team perspective, we can clearly see how hard the coaching staff is pushing this team and how well they're responding to that demand for speed and for the physicality and things of that nature. So it was a welcome sight to see. I'm going to get out of the way now. Let's hear from some of the players and head coach Mike Brown. First, let's hear from Domantas Sabonis, who not only talks about training camp to this point, the scrimmages today, Davion Mitchell, like I mentioned. He also talks a little bit about his decision to sign an extension early with the Sacramento Kings.
It's been a long 4 days, so we're actually excited. Excited we came out here. Everybody competed, everyone's in shape, so it definitely was a lot of fun.
How would you describe just the energy overall from everyone? I know that just from what we've seen there was a lot of heavy competing.
Compared to last year, I think we're way ahead. Like I said, everyone's in shape, so it didn't get sloppy. We just kept playing, being physical, competing, and it was fun.
So almost everybody's in shape, but you guys are also starting from a lot further along than where you were last year. You had to put in an offense and a defense.
Yeah.
How much does that help that you guys already know what you need to do?
It helps a lot. Practices are shorter, so legs are more fresh. But then on the court, we already have that chemistry. We're just trying to, there's maybe a little bit of rust from the summer, but today was a really good day.
Davion seemed to be up and talking a lot.
Yeah.
Have you seen him just grow as a vocal leader?
I mean, he's been talking since the day I got here. Since I got here, he talks a lot, but he's definitely improved. He's leading the second unit, not shooting, putting people in position. Shooting when he has to, making the right read. So I've definitely seen big growth in him.
I know Coach has been talking a lot about the physicality. You guys need to be more physical this year. Are you seeing that early on? Are you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Today we definitely felt it. A couple guys were banged up, but it's good. We just got to bring this energy for the first preseason game.
Thomas, did you go into this past summer thinking that you were going to get your extension figured out this summer as opposed to later on?
No, I mean, things happen in summer. Opportunity came available. And I'm happy the franchise believes in me, and I can be here for a long time now.
Were they kind of aggressive on their end, trying to get it situated?
Oh yeah, of course, I wanted to stay here. So when the opportunity came, I was more than happy to sign.
When were you convinced that this was the place?
Man, this happened. Like I always said, day one when I got traded and I walked out and I got a standing ovation from the fans. I care about all that stuff, and the fans have been big to me, my family, everyone here.
We've talked about this being your NBA home. Does it feel like that now with this extension?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of trust in me in this franchise, for Fox and I to lead, and we're excited.
How much does that partnership have to do with your desire to stay here long term?
Oh, big. Having a dynamic guard like that, superstar that can do everything. Do everything, offense and defense. It means everything. You guys saw it last year, you know what I mean? And for me as a big to play with something like that makes life so much easier.
How has Sasha looked in these scrimmages?
Oh, great. He's shooting the ball like crazy, Only thing we're telling him to shoot more because he won't miss. So he'll get that confidence. He's just trying to learn the whole system and everything's new for him.
Had you ever played against him in international play?
No, we never crossed paths.
It's okay. I know it's only been 3 days of training camp, but just the biggest improvements you've seen from day 1 to day 3.
I would say on defense, physicality is there. We're pressuring guys. It's just different. It's a whole different vibe. I can't explain it. We're really excited for that first preseason.
Coach spoke on physicality, basically saying that if you guys are ready now, come playoff time, you guys will be ready then. What are things that he's kind of throwing your way that you think is challenging you guys to be more physical?
Basically, being up on the ball, pressuring from the jump ball. It starts with Fox with the point guard. Today he brought it from the jump, and that kind of carried on for everyone. So it was a great pickup today, and I'm excited. If we can keep that consistent throughout preseason and training camp, we'll be ready for the playoffs.
Do you see him being more vocal?
Yeah, of course. I feel like everyone, it's been already a year, everyone together. Everyone's out there talking more. There's better vibes, Everyone can pick on each other, call each other out, and that's only going to make us better.
You said that this year you guys are significantly farther ahead than you were last year at the same time. Are there anything in particular that you see the drastic improvement in?
I think offense and defense, that chemistry's there. We know where we need to get better. We know what we're good at. So if we see something, we run it. On defense, we know what we're lacking in. Everyone's trying since day one to do that extra step. And when everyone does that extra step, good things happen.
Today's episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is brought to you by Birddogs. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about the comfort of Birddogs, how great they are for different occasions, and how they help you stay dry and not sweat too much and everything. I'm going to get into all of that. But ultimately, the point of Birddogs is they look good. That's the whole point of clothes, right? Birddogs make you look good. Their stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Birddog shorts do the exact same thing as Lululemon shorts, but they fit way better and look way better. Birddogs has cloud knit fabric that just looks like khaki but stretches, so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice any kind of movement. It's functional for any occasion, whether you're playing golf, you're out on a date, you're doing something semi-formal, whatever it may be. Birddogs are perfect for those different occasions. So go to birddogs.com/lockedonnba or enter promo code LOCKEDONNBA at checkout for a free Birddogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/lockedonnba for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Birddogs off. We promise you. Now let's hear from Kevin Huerter. Kevin had a lot of good input on the growth of Davion Mitchell as a leader and as a communicator. Kevin Huerter is just a really, really good interview and is just a good talker, period. So here is the starting shooting guard for the Sacramento Kings.
How has the competition level been here in the first couple of days of camp, and how good is it to get out here and just run?
It's been really good. It's been physical. It's what training camp's supposed to be like. Us beating each other up a little bit. I had 4 or 5 practices up to this point, just getting after it. It was nice to finally be able to just scrimmage and play here. So it's been good. I think guys are feeling a little bit. Tomorrow will be a good film and shooting day, but it's been a good 3 days.
Ice mags?
For sure.
Domas referenced both the offense and defense that has dramatically grown and gotten better. What have you seen from this team over the last few days?
Yeah, just year 2. I think everyone's trying to play the right way. I think that's really good to see. The ball's moving. The guys that we have new that are coming in are trying to fit in, and they're trying to play the right way. So it's good to see. Defensively, I think everyone's playing a lot of effort. Again, it's training camp. That's usually what happens here. We just got to sustain it, continue to show it, and we play Toronto. But everyone's trying to do the right things.
How do you practice and endure physicality in the first week of camp?
You just got to know what's coming. It's a big emphasis from coaching staff every year. You come into camp and everyone's fighting for jobs, fighting for playing time, and beat each other up. It's physical, but you love it. That's just the game, and it's definitely been intense first 3 days.
Can you give us a story of maybe just plays getting physical?
Nothing like that. Nothing like guys going at each other. Just within the game, a lot of breakdown drills. We're doing 4-on-4 and transition drills, and not everything is as fluid as just scrimmaging. So a lot of half-court stopping, trying to get our plays right, and those types of things. They get physical. That's just how it is.
What are your impressions of Sasha, and what does it look like is coming maybe easy to him, and what is he still adjusting to?
Yeah, just the way we play. I think it's the way we play really fits his game, and we knew that coming in. And he's shooting the ball well. He's playing the right way. Guys are finding him. Getting used to playing with him. He's looked good.
It was fun watching Davion up and chirping and talking a lot there during this drill at the end. How have you seen him grow just as a point guard and a leader?
Yes, he's talking a lot more, to be honest. He's in a good way, though. His confidence has grown. I think he's had a great summer. Played with him a couple times this summer and pick up in different cities, and he's bringing that here. I think it's a big year for him. I think he's really excited. He's worked extremely hard to be here, and him talking is usually what he does. But I think in general, the coaches are pushing him to talk more, and he is.
What are your early impressions of how Duarte can impact this team?
Both sides of the ball. He's a physical defender. He's a guy that can get up into the ball and pressure you right when you get over half court. And offensively is a really mature game. Can score at all three levels. I think he's still getting used to how we're playing, but he's going to be really good for us on both sides.
Say, Kevin, getting back to the physical part, are you seeing your teammates taking hard screens and going vertical and getting hit in the chest, taking charges right now?
Yeah, everything. Like I said, there's no one's playing dirty. No one's gotten into it. There hasn't been any of that. Just guys trying to be physical, play the right way, set the tone for hopefully we can play the rest of the year.
I know the team has goals for preseason games, but for you personally, what are you looking for out of the 4 preseason games that you're playing before the season starts?
Just continue to establish what we do. Continue to get comfortable with each other, within our offense. Continue to get in shape. Establish what we want to do defensively, and just be at a point where we can hit the ground running for game 1.
Based on Vancouver?
I've not. First time.
I mean, I know you don't get a whole lot of time to spend there, but how much do you like? I know it used to be an NBA market, but obviously not anymore. How much do you like going to those places like that?
Yeah, I'm interested. I love traveling. To be honest, I really don't know much of anything about Vancouver. So I'm excited. It's a new place, new adventure. I'm not going to be there very long, unfortunately, but maybe get some dinner, see the city a little bit.
Based on what you're seeing, Kevin, what is a realistic expectation of the defensive improvement this team could make this year?
It's tough to tell. Yeah, we still got it. You got to do it in a game. But I know that the effort's there so far in camp. Again, we just keep going back to guys trying to play more physical, being in the right spots, taking charges, being there for teammates, and just got to sustain it.
Today's episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is also brought to you by FanDuel. You can snap into all the NFL action this season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Place a $5 bet on anything, whatever it is, a game line, a futures bet, a prop bet, whatever you want. Put $5 down. That's the only money that you have to invest, and you get $200 in bonus bets whether you win or you lose. So you could win, you're already in the black, like you're celebrating because you're up however much money you made on that $5 bet. Plus, here's $200 in bonus bets for you to add on to that. Or if you lose, here's $200 in bonus bets for you to get that $5 back and more. And the app is super easy to use. You can bet on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. If you're thinking of joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. Plus, when NBA season comes around very shortly here, you'll be able to have fun betting on that too. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Kick off the NFL season the right way. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Finally, let's hear from Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Brown. This is where you're really going to get a lot of great insight on Davion's growth and development as a leader, but also what Mike thinks of Davion's improvement as a shooter.
You guys scrimmage, getting up and down, just how good does your team look? How much do they need that to kind of burn some energy?
It was needed, because we've been doing a lot of drills and a lot of breakdowns, and these guys have been great just doing whatever we asked them to. That was on the practice plan. So for them to be able to get out and kind of blow it out a little bit tonight was welcomed by them and our coaches too. So it was a lot of fun for those guys.
Mike, you've talked before about wanting to get to a point where you can kind of sit back and let the guys lead and hold themselves accountable. Are you seeing more of that from last year to even now?
For sure. Yeah, we are. We're seeing certain guys step up and say things, and it's all across the board. You got a young guy like Davion saying something. You got Foxy saying something. JaVale is a new guy saying something. So we have a lot of guys trying to hold each other accountable so we can play the right way.
Scale of 1 to 10, just how sloppy are some of these scrimmages?
For this early, it wasn't bad because if you think about it, we really practiced Tuesday and Wednesday, and so for us to, because today's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for us to come in here and after 2 days of practice and try to, we've thrown a lot at them, and we're still going to be sorting through it throughout the preseason, but for them to try to come in here and execute what we've thrown at them in a short amount of time was pretty good. It'd be good to go back and watch the film, though.
When you say you throw a lot at them, you expect them to absorb a lot too, right?
Yeah, I do, but we've only been together 2-3 days, so we expect that, but not. We know that they're not going to get it all down right now.
Mike, day 3 is Ice Bag Day. How's everyone holding up after a couple of days of getting beat up?
Pretty good. Nobody sat out today. Obviously we'll see how it goes tomorrow. We're not going to have contact tomorrow. We're going to watch film from tonight and get a lot of shots up, and then we'll come back, have some contact on Saturday, and fly to Vancouver.
How do you approach Sunday's game?
Kind of same way as last year. Guys will play a few minutes, but we're going to try to play as many guys as we can and take a look at them, and then as the preseason goes along, we'll up the ante a little bit in terms of minutes.
When you look at Sasha, what seems to be coming naturally, and what does he maybe need to work on a little more?
It's going to be, a lot of it's going to be the same thing as how well he can sit down and defend. I mean, he's gifted offensively with his ability to pass the ball. He's really smart, knows how to change pace, and cuts really well. Obviously, he can shoot it. Offensive rebound. There's a lot of things he can do offensively, and then there's some things he does defensively too. He's a physical guy. He's not afraid to take a hit or give a hit. It's just whether or not he can sit down in front of the ball when it comes to teams wanting to try to go at him, because it's no secret they're going to try to go at him.
Is he getting some buckets and getting some shots off in these scrimmages?
Yeah, but all our guys are. I mean, we got a lot of really good shooters out here, and so all of our guys are shooting the ball at a high level, especially when they're open, and the way they're trying to move the ball and space the floor. They're trying to get their teammates some pretty good looks.
Mike, you said that Davion has been more vocal. Is there anyone in particular who's really surprised you during the last few days at camp here that stepped up their development, what have you, and you just are thrilled with them?
No, I mean, there aren't many guys who I can say, oh man, I'm disappointed in this guy, I'm disappointed in that guy. When you look at our group, you can tell that they all worked hard on their craft throughout the course of the summer, and they're ready to try to take another step, not just individually but collectively, because they've done a lot of that together this summer. So it's not any one person that's kind of stood out yet, but there's plenty of guys that look pretty good.
Domas said that this year you guys are drastically better than a year ago coming in at this time. What have you seen if you had to compare the two? And what?
Look, it's just that corporate knowledge. You got that corporate knowledge from last year, and we got a lot of guys that have returned from last year, and so they've been through it. They know kind of what to expect from us to a certain degree on both ends of the floor, and then they're able to help the new guys because they have that corporate knowledge.
I know Davion. Go ahead, man.
I was going to say, with Davion specifically, how have you seen him grow kind of as the leader of that second unit even over the last year?
He's extremely vocal. He knows exactly what should be happening, not just with his position, but with everybody's position, and he's going to be demanding. If we don't get back in transition, he's going to say something. If we don't swing the ball to the open guy, he's going to say something. And you like that from a young guy, because it's hard to lead, especially when you're young and you're telling guys that have more years than you, hey, no, we got to do this better. And that means you got to be perfect when it comes to working hard and trying to play the right way, and he's definitely trying to do that.
He worked on his shot a lot over the summer and the arc on his shot. What are you seeing from him in terms of his shooting?
Just again, it's only been a few days here, but he shot the ball well. You could tell he's worked on his shot, and he looks good shooting the ball. He looks comfortable shooting the ball and confident, and that's all you can ask for, especially when he's open.
Did he have too much arc what you think last year?
I mean, you would have to ask his shooting coach. Hey, I just want to make it. I don't care how high the ball goes or how low it goes, just go in.
During these scrimmages, you've got obviously your coaching staff, and they take a pretty active role, and you kind of sit in that chair over there. I wonder how much do you try to sit back and not be too vocal during those moments?
Yeah, that was just a time for the players to not hear my voice and to go out there and play and play free, and I wanted to see what they can do, and I trust all my coaches, and I think our players know that, because I sit and observe quite a bit, especially in the summertime. So I again, we just want to see what it looked like if they played 4 12-minute quarters. That's what they played tonight, and this early in camp, it was okay. Not great, but okay, leaning towards good.
Do you ever sense eyes trying to make eye contact with you at different moments of the game, whether it's a player making a mistake or doing something well? Do they try to catch your eye at all?
Not really. Guys will act like I'm sitting over there, and so guys that may be lined up in that position during a dead ball, they may say, hey, was I supposed to do this or do that, or should I have done that? And, so there's just general conversation like that every once in a while. And there may be a time or two where I may get up and go talk to a player or two during the course of the game, or go talk to a team, but not much.
We saw a little bit of the chirping at the end there. How much do you like to see that level of competitiveness?
I told him when we were in our huddle, I said, hey, the one thing that you like is the competitive spirit. We talk about winning every day, and you got to win every day with your competitive spirit. Or work ethic, both those go hand in hand. Focusing on the details, trying not to let any detail be too small for us, and then buying into that individual commitment of sacrifice and trying to do the right thing for the group's one common goal.
We saw mostly 2s and 3s out here in the scrimmage. How much were the other guys involved in the first 3 quarters before we came in?
They were involved. They played a lot of minutes. They played most of the scrimmage, and then the guys at the end, they for the most part just played that fourth quarter. A couple of them had played earlier, throughout the course of the scrimmage, but not much.
You spoke of a competitive spirit. Are you seeing them hard screens, those vertical, when they go vertical, getting hit in the chest and sitting, taking charges and things? Are you seeing that right now?
Yeah, guys are stepping in and trying to take the hit. We had a couple of charges tonight, and more so probably at this point of training camp than we did during last year's training camp. So guys seem to be taking that to heart, trying to protect the paint the right way by taking the hit.
We've seen what JaVale can bring as a vocal leader, but how big has he been for working against Domas and Alex and the other bigs, just facing him every day?
I think it's good. That's a great question for Domas, especially because, he's extremely long, and, he's a big man, like I said. And so for Domas to have to go against him for a little bit, and then sometimes go against a guy like Trey as a backup 5, and it's great. It just prepares you for a lot of different things that you're going to see throughout the course of the year.
So there you have it. Day 3 of Sacramento Kings training camp in the books. Again, it was really fun to be able to experience that energy and atmosphere. Very, very excited for Kings and Raptors in Vancouver on Sunday. Definitely looking forward to that. Now, the Kings do have training camp tomorrow. They have practice tomorrow. They're doing a no contact light day. I think you heard Mike Brown talking about that. So they're going to just do kind of film studies and walkthroughs and things like that. So there is no media availability for tomorrow. So there will be no Locked On Kings podcast tomorrow. I do have an announcement video coming of something really, really cool that's happening with Locked On Kings. That will come out tomorrow. I'm very excited to share this because it's going to be something very new for the Locked On Kings this season. I'm super excited, so keep an eye out. It's going to be a separate video announcement that I put out, and I'll probably release an audio announcement version 2. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's going to give us some opportunities to do some really cool, unique, new things that we've never done before this season. So I can't wait to announce that. That's coming tomorrow. And then Saturday, the Kings will practice. They'll have an earlier practice, then they'll hop on a plane and go to go to Vancouver to play Toronto. I will not be going to that, but I did find out today that I'm going to be headed to Salt Lake City on October 25th for the first game of the season. So I will be in Utah to watch the Kings take on the Jazz to open up their season. I'll do a podcast from there. I'm really excited about that. So that's going to be really, really cool. So I'll be able to provide kind of firsthand witnessing the Kings start their season. And hopefully it's a better start than last season. Remember the 0-4 start to last year. It's hard to believe that was even a thing with how well last season went. But let's just hope the Kings get off to a much better start this year than it was last year. But I'm excited about that. So please continue to keep it locked right here on Locked On Kings, as we'll get you through this training camp, get you through the preseason. Got a lot of good preseason action coming up. Soon we'll have actual Kings basketball to break down. So I'm really excited about that. Kings basketball is back. And so is the Locked On. Well, Locked On Kings didn't go anywhere, but we're really, really back. And your support over this week, just with Media Day through training camp so far, has been incredible. So thank you so much. Can't wait to provide more great content for you in the future. Until then, my name is Matt George. You've been listening to the Locked On Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.